Welcome back. Now for the FX commodity update. Now, the war in Ukraine has caused major supply disruptions and led to historically higher prices for several commodities, especially in the global space, on the back of rising prices of fertilizer and further worsened by floods across Nigeria. Well, joining us now for analysis, Commodities Raji, Managing Director, FX Fair Trade Limited, joining us from our Abuja studio. Great to have you on the program. Good morning. So the current gap in the supply of fertilizer fueled by the Russia-Ukraine crisis has changed, the scene and the price of commodities. What is the extent of this increase?
Thank you very much for this question. And it is obvious to everyone in the commodities market to have seen the impact of the hike in price of inputs at the beginning of the season. Around March, April, the price moved so significantly, and it's indirectly affected the rate of cultivation because indirectly the cost of production for 1 hectare, for 3 hectares, was what was spent on 1 hectare in the last season, and that has really affected the number of hectares that was cultivated. That has affected the number of hectares that farmers were supposed to apply fertilizer, use seed, and other things. And in the sense of this has really affected our production for the year. And production against consumption has been at a very long gap. And we are speaking to about 14 to 15% gap in production as against our 2021 that we have over 12 million metric tons of maize. But this year, what we are looking at is around 10.6 million, which is a big one. And that will indirectly affect the price of commodities in the market because commodities will have, people and processors will have to definitely scamper for what is limitedly available in the market. And that's going to impact the price of commodities too. So the poultry sectors and some other processors who are major users of maize will have to really run to the market by at the right time and be able to meet up with their demand for the year. And, as this affected the price of production of maize, it has indirectly impacted in the positives the production of soybeans because it has increased soybeans by like 7%. Although our consumption and demand for soybeans is still not at par, even at that increment. For sorghum and some other commodities, we are like the largest producer of sorghum in Africa, but yet, there is a limitation to the processing side of it, and it's just limited to one side of the business, and everybody just needs to start looking at what to be done, what to do, and how and when to go into the market for right placing.
But post-harvest losses is obviously a worrisome situation that threatens food security in the country. In what ways, is FX trying to limit these losses?
Yeah. Post-harvest loss is accruing to like 40 to 50% of our production from our smallholder farmers in Nigeria or Africa as a whole. And what we are doing at FX is to deliberately invest in a storage facility in key grain producing communities across Nigeria, and that is to say we limit the distance gap between production sites to storage. And what we do in this case is that we first met with farmers, put them into communities of their own, and organize them in cooperatives and cells. And that cell simply means that we have cooperative of 20 to 25 people in 25 cooperative societies. That makes a cell and give that to a field extension officer who take charge of them and be able to manage them, teach them the best agronomic practices, link them to a storage facility that's not far away from them, and that should give them 2 or 3 accesses. One, it gave them the access to storage at the right time. It reduces their cost of trying to say they want to establish a personal farmer warehouse where indirectly they cannot maintain the best practices as against what is needed across the globe. And at the same time, it gives them the opportunity to assess market at the right time, at the right quality. So what we did was to establish from over 150 warehouse facilities across major producing communities in Nigeria, and today we have storage capacity of not less than 470,000 metric tons, which is helping farmers to assess, one, When you store at the right time, you get your bags graded, you get a warehouse receipt, and that warehouse receipt can serve like a collateral for you to access financing from IFEX or to access financing from a partnering organization and be able to meet up with your daily demand. And at the same time, that can afford you the opportunity of a forward contract, and you'll be able to sell against time or future. And at the same time, you get to be on the global map for selling the right quality, producing the right quality, and maintaining the right quantity.
And recently, IFEX launched its Grain Enhancement Center. How will this impact post-harvest?
Yeah, that was a big one for every one of us, especially from this part of the world, that a quality enhancement center came up in Nigeria, and we are like reintroducing Nigeria back to the global map. And that is to say that we are bringing to farming communities, smallholder farmers, a quality enhancement center that can help them to locate the market in the world at the right specification. And the essence of this is that whatever you are bringing in, and it's being cleaned and maintained at the right specification, can access the market at any time. The global market has a specification to whatever they are picking at any point in time. It brings more money to the farmers, and it puts the farmer at the right channel of food supply chain. Indirectly, what is done is that we have been able to increase our traceability to what we do. And farmers, our local farmers who we all believe they are local farmers, are on the global chain, telling the world that they can get it done better, they are doing the right thing, and they can increase their production. Because it will increase their production because in whatever they are being produced and they have the right type of market to sell at the right time, they will definitely not plan to leave the rural area for any urban settlement, and they will continue in their own preoccupation. The essence of establishing this quality enhancement center is to make sure that whatever farmers are doing in Nigeria is getting the right type of appreciation, is getting the right type of market, is getting the right type of attention across the global food chain.
And the Russia-Ukraine, crisis has definitely loomed, and we felt the effect, this season. If it persists till the next season, how can, farmers get around it?
You see, this crisis that is going on between Ukraine and Russia is really telling on a lot of things, not just agriculture. If you check the food supply chain and food consumption balance table, you see that a lot of things are missing. And for farmers, smallholder farmers, major component of the raw materials needed for fertilizer production are sourced from that area, especially for this part of the world, sub-Saharan Africa. If this continues, it means the price of fertilizer will continue to go on, and the implication is that the price of commodities will continue to increase per time, and this will have a very big impact on Nigeria and the world as a whole, because the population is growing. Not far away, like recently, like last week, it was announced that the world population eats 8 billion indirectly, and if our food production cannot match up with consumption, then there's going to be a bigger problem. I think the world organizations need to all come together and be able to find a lasting solution to what is happening between Ukraine and Russia, and that will definitely have a ripple effect in agriculture and some other sector of the world.
All right, thank you so much. That was Kamaldeen Raji, Managing Director, IFEX Fair Trade Limited. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.